Hey, how you doing? David Taub here with Epic Guitar Instruction. Hope all is going well, and I hope your guitar and musical journeys are going famously. Today we're going to learn the song What It's Like by Everlast. A lot of it is the same progression through most of the song. And this is from his 1998 release, Whitey Ford Sings the Blues. Really fun song, and it definitely has that groove to it, right? That Everlast style that he embraced when he left the group House of Pain, which kind of combines that rock, blues, hip-hop kind of thing. And this song's in standard tuning, so go ahead and tune your guitars low to high, E, A, D, G, B, and E. We're in the key of D minor. You're only going to need basically 6 chords. So you're going to need this D minor chord, all open chords, no bar chords. So D minor. Then if you add your pinky on the high E string at that 3rd fret, that's a D suspended 4th. F major 7. And then you're going to need C. Alright, then for the interlude, he plays 2 different chords. Take that D minor chord and move it up a whole step or 2 frets and play that with the open D, and that becomes E minor over D, E minor slash D. And then if you add your pinky to the high E string at that 5th fret on that A note, that becomes an E sus4 over D. That's all the chords you'll need. And if you could do us a quick favor, please subscribe to the channel. You know, subscribing to the channel really helps us to keep the content coming, as well as then when we have new lessons up, you will be notified. Also, leave a comment below. Let us know how you like this lesson. Let us know what lessons you'd like to see coming up. And if you like the video, please click the like button, give it a thumbs up, share it, and thank you so much for your support. So the song starts off with an intro that's picked before it goes into the first verse and starts strumming it. Let me play the intro for you, and then I'll go back and explain it. He plays through the chord progression 4 times. Sound like this. The first verse. So the progression for the intro is that D sus4. So finger the D minor chord, but then add your pinky to play the D sus4. So it's the D sus4 to the D minor, then he goes to that F major 7, and then to the C. And here's how he picks it. And I'll slow it down. So basically finger the D minor chord, but add the sus4 with your pinky and start at the open D and just go right down the strings. D string, G string, D string, high E string. Then lift off your 3rd finger, so you're going to sound that 1st finger like the D minor chord. Right? And then put the 3rd finger back and you do a pull off when that 3rd finger's back. So you go back to the D sus4 and pull off with that 3rd finger. So you get this. Then you're going to play this 3rd fret on the B string and then open B string. So altogether so far you have this. Alright, and when you do that on the B string, 3rd fret open, you could do a pull-off. Sometimes I hear him doing a pull-off, and sometimes live he'll pick it. I tend to pick it. Then grab that F major 7 chord and start again right at the D string, go straight down, D string, G string, then hit the high E and the B together. Then with an upstroke, come up and hit again, you're going to hit the high E and B. So that on the F major 7, down, 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 up. Right? Then go to the C chord. Alright, and on the C chord, you know, it doesn't have to be exact. What I hear is he's hitting the A and the D together. But you can just hit the low, you know, the lowest note, the C note, 3rd fret, A string, and then the D string. But same thing, down, 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 up. And that down, down, the 3rd down, I tend to hit the top 3 strings, G, B, and E, and then come with an upstroke and catch that high E and B. So on that C chord. Alright, so if you put all 4 of those together. So the intro goes right into the first verse. We've all seen a man at the liquor store begging for a change. The verse changes similar to the intro, but those changes are D minor to F major 7 to C, like the intro, but then he goes back to D minor. I'll tell you what, I'll play verse 1 just so you can kind of get a feel for the groove, and then I'll go back and I'll explain the strum pattern. And that goes right into the chorus. Then you really might know what it's like, what it's like. Then you really might know what it's like, what it's like. So basically in verse 1, he plays that D minor, F major 7, C to D minor 6 times, right? And then in verse 2, he plays it 8 times. Same chord, same progression, just longer. He does the same thing in verse 4. He plays it 8 times. You could say there's 4 verses in the song. 3 of them are the same. Verse 3, some people may consider that a bridge. We'll just say it's a verse for brevity's sake. In verse 3, as I've seen a rich man beg, I've seen a good man sin, he picks it like he does in the intro. He does like the intro progression in verse 3. So let's go over the verse strum and rhythm pattern. This is most of the song right here. So the first time you play the progression, do a pattern like this. Down, down, up, down, chuck. That pattern, actually, this is going to be different the second time on that one chord. But the first time, again, I just want to make you get in the groove and get this easy. Now, here's the pattern for all the other chords. Up, down, chuck. All right, so up, down, up. And then you come down with that chuck where I'm hitting the strings with my hand at the same time the pick is hitting it. That's the sound you want to get. That rhythmic chucking sound. Might take you a while to get it loud, but you could do it. The pick hits the strings the same as this part of the hand. And same thing on the C. Up, down, up, chuck. All right, that last D minor chord before the progression repeats. It's up. Now, you do the 2 upstrokes, and then you do an up, but you got to do a hammer on with that pinky like we did in the intro, and that's the sound you want to get. You hammer from the third, you hammer from the first to the third because you're holding down the D minor, so you're hammering from that first fret, pinky, and then pull down. So you get that. 3 notes. And then a downstroke. So just on this last D minor chord, up, hammer, pull, down. That's very important for keeping the groove. If I put all of them together, okay, now do you see how it starts over again? Right after you get to that down on that D minor, that last down, you start it over, but this time and every time afterwards, it's that same up. You don't do those down like we did on the first D minor chord. It's just up, down, chuck. That rhythmic pattern might seem a little complex, but believe me, once you get it under your belt a couple times and you play it through, you'll have it. And if you're having some trouble with the strumming, right, and strum patterns in general and rhythm in general, if it's throwing you off with changes, I can really help you with that. Tell you what, click on the link in the YouTube description box below. I'll send you some essential strumming techniques that'll really help your strumming and rhythm. I go over note length, I go over strumming, patterns, you'll learn a bunch of patterns and how to use them and when you break them down. It's a really cool extended play video. It's long, it's not on YouTube, and I'll pair it with an ebook which has more lessons in it, more exercises. It's a great 1-2 combination. Video lesson, ebook, just click on that link below. Now the choruses are pretty much all the same. The outro chorus is a tad different because he's picking the notes a little differently, but basically the choruses are the same. It's the same progression, but he does one change. He plays the D minor, F major 7, C to D minor with the same strum pattern. Then you really might know what it's like, then you really might know what it's like, 3 times he does that. The 4th time, then you really might know what it's like. D minor, F major 7, C, and he holds the C. Doesn't go to the D minor, it's just the 4th time. Now there's different versions of the song. Some versions, I guess they shorten it for the radio and whatnot. He'll go right, and different from when he plays it live because he goes right from that first chorus into the interlude live. On the radio version, he goes from the chorus right into verse 2. Mary got pregnant from a kid named Tom. Verse 2, then another chorus, same as the first chorus. Then into verse 3, and then the interlude. But it doesn't really matter because once you know, like now you know the verse parts, right? You're just playing them either 6 or 8 times, the progression depending on which verse you're on. And now you know the chorus pretty much. I'm going to show you the pattern on that C chord. So you could do them as many or as few times as you want, and we'll splice in the interlude. So the chorus, then you really might know what it's like. Do the same strum pattern. The only difference is the last time when you get to the C, you have to hold the C for the extra measure because you're not going to the D minor. I'll tell you what, I'll play the chorus. It'll sound like this. Okay, you notice on that C chord, I held it a little longer. So all I did on the C, up, 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 down, up with a chuck, same as before, but after that you had to do this, up, up, down, chuck, up. It's kind of like that last line of the chorus. After the chorus, then you might know what it's like, and you hang on that C chord, right? It's very easy to start the next D minor with an upstroke because we're coming off of a down chuck on that C chord, up, up, chuck, up, chuck. And there's our D minor for the first chord in verse 2. Mary got pregnant from a kid named Tom. So check it out. If I play that last chorus line, see how I went right from the chorus into the second verse, and I started that time the D minor with an upstroke with that same pattern like we used for most of verse 1. And after verse 2, it goes right into another chorus. Then you really might know what it's like. Then you really might know what it's like, which then goes into what I call verse 3. I've seen a rich man beg. I've seen a good man sin. I've seen a tough man cry. We're calling it verse 3. All verse 3 is, it's the intro, and he says the words over those changes. At the end of that, the last time you do it, the last line, you know where it ends. It usually depends on where you start. That's the end of that third verse. Then it goes into this interlude where we're going to use a couple other chords. The interlude, you've heard it. It sounds like this. All right, there you see me ending it and starting verse 4. I knew this kid named Max who used to get fat stacks on the corner with drugs. So think of the interlude progression as 4 parts. The first part, you just go from that D minor up a whole step to the E minor over D. I'll show you the picking pattern in a second. The second time, D minor, again to E minor over D, but then you're going to add the sus4, E sus4 over D. The third one, just like the first one, D minor to the E minor over D. And then the last one, you're just going to stay on that D minor. So let's go over the picking and the strumming pattern for that interlude, right? Okay, so it starts on D minor, 2 downstrokes, down, down, up, up. But when you come on the 2 upstrokes, just pick the high E and then the B string. And then a down, up. So technically you're doing like that 8th note pattern, down, down, up, down, up. But we're combining strumming and picking. Down, down, pick up, down, up. And then another downstroke and you slide it. Take the whole chord and slide it up a whole step or 2 frets to the E minor over D. Down, down, up, down, slide. So when you slide up a whole step and then another downstroke. And then you hit that high E and B string again. Alright, it has that swagger. And then it ends with a down up. And then you do it again. But this time, when you do the down up, you add the pinky. And you get that E sus4. You have that pinky on the high E string, 5th fret, which is the A note, and then you pull it off so you're sounding the G note at the 3rd fret. Then another down up. All right, the third one is just like the first one. So all 3 together. And the last one, stay on the D minor, down, down, up, up. High E, B string. Down, down, up, down, up, down, up. All right? So I would connect that right into the next verse and start that D minor chord with the downstroke. You could even put in right at the end of it, right? You do a little down, up. So up, down, up, down, down, up. And then next verse. then at the very end, at the outro, the last thing he does after the fourth verse, God forbid you ever wake up to hear the news, because then you really might know what it's like to have to lose. Then you really might know what it's like. Then it goes into a chorus again, but this time on the last chorus, he doesn't hold the C. He just plays it the same. D minor, F major 7, C, D minor, 4 times. And then he kind of picks the chords as he goes through the outro, and it fades out. But the picking thing he does is pretty cool, so I'll show it to you. So basically what he does is... All right, I kind of just made up a little ending there. He kind of does something like that similar live. So what I'm doing on that D minor chord, again, D minor, F major 7, C, D minor. Down, down, up, up, down, up, up, down, up, down. And you don't even have to be exact. You can hit a couple of the other strings. That's okay, but you want to get that vibe. So down, down, up, down, up, down, up. 3 times you do it. And then you change F major 7. Same thing where you're hitting the low strings down, up on the high E and B. Down, up, down, up, and then go to the C, same thing. Down, down, up, down, up, down, up. And then after you do all 3, I'll throw in like a down, up, just to kind of make it flow. And then the last time on a D minor, down, down, he goes to that D sus4 on off with the pinky. You could do that as many or as few times as you want for the progression, and then just go back to the intro, but then you start to slow it down. Same thing. Down, 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 and then end on your D minor chord. Hope you liked that lesson. Really fun one to add to your song catalog. Don't forget, subscribe to the channel because I got a lot of really cool lessons coming up, and this way you'll be notified when we have new lessons up, and by your subscribing helps us to keep the content going, right? Also, click below, you'll get my free video lesson on essential strumming techniques and strum patterns. It's killer extended play. It's not on YouTube. I'll send you that and an ebook. Thanks so much for tuning in, and thanks so much for your support over the years and years. So appreciate it. And remember, your guitar playing is an evolution. Take care and rock on.